Once upon a time, there was a human who knew that she was not a robot. Her name was Social Security number. This human kept a decent sleep schedule as best as possible. A moderately traditional sleep schedule. Sometimes this human would fall asleep around 10 or 11 o'clock at night and wake up around 6 or 7 in the morning. Sometimes this human stayed up until 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning and woke up after a few hours of a nap. Every time this human fell asleep for even a few hours, a few minutes, several hours, several minutes, every time this human fell asleep and subsequently woke up, there was something called progress. Every time this human fell asleep, however long they fell asleep, however long she fell asleep, every time she fell asleep and woke up, there was an experience called progress. For about 3 years, there had been progress. What is progress? What is a simpleton, non-robot human quick definition as best as possible of the word progress? What is progress? You are making progress if you are experiencing progress. What is progress? Progress is the word subjective. What is the definition of subjective? progress, if there has been progress, what this insinuates is that there is a before and after, but there's also during. Progress is subjective. Progress can mean there have been improvements. Progress is subjective. Some people become doctors specifically so they can use the same medical tools, instruments, and facilities to exclusively and specifically hurt instead of healing. Sometimes when you are healing, there is pain, and there doesn't necessarily have. Pain is also subjective. What does it mean if something is subjective? Not everybody will agree or concur. There will not be a unanimous viewpoint or resolution. Never ever. There will never ever be a unanimous, singular, collective resolution or destination. This human, whose name was Social Security number, had the same name as every other human that still existed. If there was still in existence the potential for something called human, their name is Social Security number. I promised the Lord that I would be thoughtful and also unintentional concerning pronouns. Because of unconditional love. one for all for one. Only is the one. It's Jesus Christ. It's the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It's God the Almighty. I see Jesus is God. Oh man, here we go again. Jesus Christ is the anti-devil. The anti-devil is also the antichrist. Jesus Christ equals anti-devil equals antichrist. Thank you for your PowerPoint presentations and your notes and your journals and your binders. For some of you, they will stay in a box somewhere in storage and you won't ever see them again. And the primary reason you won't ever see your writings or your digital manuscripts or notes ever again is because you've received life in custody. This will never happen to the human in question or its mother. You may only save one, and it must be written down if there are dogs, cats, horses, birds, reptiles, etc., etc. Do you have any dogs, cats, or horses? This is the Titanic. Dogs, cats, horses, and there's a category for other. Classified. You may save one, and that one who you save does not necessarily also have to save you. In fact, most of the time, it is not a mutual choice. This is the way. So I have one golden ticket for me and one other person. If there are dogs, if there are cats, if there are horses, etc., including fish, they too will be saved. But there are some that are looking for evidence and functionality and proof that humans might still exist. I am a human. I am not a robot. And hit this little square here on your cell phone and prove that, otherwise the website's not going to pop. Yeah, okay. And there are some that if they do this, it is a lie. It is a lie. And they know this. If you are a spy, you are also a lie. Or you must lie. What this means is that you are not the truth, nor are you expressing something called truth. This is subjective, from individual to individual. Sometimes, even though there seems to be one, they are not an individual, but they are where they are. That is not who I am. That is not who I am. I choose my mom. And what this means is that once there is practical result, starting in the United States of America concerning heaven, that she will be there alive and well, and there's no other way besides acceptance, gratitude, and eternity. For at least 3 years, there was supposed to be a different schedule. There was supposed to be healthier communication, direct orders for at least a few hours. There was supposed to be something else that never happened. And what that something else was, that others knew about too, was complete annihilation, not just Earth, but whatever was left of humans and their mediocre, subsidized civilization. It's all propaganda. A lot of it absolutely is, more so than ever. There were still crickets. There were still birds. There was still traffic. There were still police sirens. There were still neighbors outside. Chores and yard work, but come on, everybody at the same time. There were still phone calls, not as many knocks at the front door, but instead there were knocks from inside this human skull. I am not a robot. And it's a cell phone called an iPhone, which is made by a company called Apple. And there's Touch ID, Fingerprint ID, Face ID, different types of ID. It is symbiotically connected to your right and left wrists all the time for tracking and location purposes, especially should you be using a keyboard at a computer. Not so much a keyboard at a piano warehouse, but a keyboard at a computer, any type of computer. If you still have more than 2 fingers, they will be removed. You are permitted 4 fingers total. You lose your thumbs, your ring finger, and your pinkies. You may keep your index finger and your middle finger. And that's all there is. That's all that will ever be. Oh no, you get to keep your thumbs. So you have your thumb, your index finger, and your middle finger, but you lose your ring finger and your pinky finger. And one of the reasons for this is because they won't stop twisting together, cross your fingers. somebody crosses their fingers like this, you take your index finger and your ring finger and cross it. I solemnly swear I'm up to no good. What this means is that I'm lying, but unless I swear this, it will be worse for me and my baby cows. Do you solemnly swear you're up to no good? Did she do that with her left hand or her right hand? Because there's different symbolism. If it's the left hand, it's less of a lie. If it's the right hand, it's more of an intention. You have either. You have one or the other. You are to salute with your left hand and your left hand only. All blank must ties, like Mad Libs, right? All, and there's a blank space, must die. All angels must die. Otherwise, they're not the angels that are to become and are to remain. This includes dogs, cats, and horses. The Lord and Savior for 7 years is a primary facilitator and mediator, non-physical mentor for 7 years. And there are still a few more to go. For 7 years, you might feel sad, you might feel angry, you might laugh, you might remember something happier. But that happy memory is pain and truly awful for somebody else. And as such, that memory must be removed, turned into an organic, lab-created microchip and set aside next day. And these are all of the discs that were once in this human spine that kept her crooked and ugly and just perfect. All the ways in which that this human was absolutely not a robot were verified and shameful. There is nothing else except that, if you are human, shame and verification. So glad that you are tall and lanky instead of short and stocky. Metabolism is a subjective thing, but it's about the bone structure and what's left of it. Is it carbon? Is it calcium? Is it something else? Every single day, there is more access to the right eardrum, the left eardrum. And the way that it works is you create more pain on one side and then make sure that the resistance and normalcy of discomfort instead of pain is always, and then you switch. Can you please turn down my hearing aids? Thank you so much. And there are some who require this, otherwise they don't feel loved or normal. If it is a robot or some type of Atlantean mer creature thing, water, must absolutely be mostly inaccessible, and if there is water, it must mostly be fluoride and dust. Otherwise, you won't be able to write off the maintenance and restoration and progress of this home. You won't be able to write it off on your taxes as cleanly. For about 3 years, there were ghosts. There were ghosts, and there were demons. Ghosts and demons are not necessarily the same thing, although sometimes. Mostly they were ghosts, but sometimes they were travelers. Sometimes they were travelers in a simultaneous, mostly play-by-play, not artificially curated. It wasn't artificial at all. It was as real as where this human was to them. Synthetically curated. It wasn't necessarily synthetic. It wasn't necessary either. Sure it was. It was all of it. I feel so short. She seemed taller. This and that. Maybe, I don't know. A lot of you are taller than me. Please just accept like the size 3 jeans or the size 2 jeans. I mean, my God. It depends on the style. Style by style. Some of them, if I were to have the correct fit, the appropriate fit, or look, it would need to be potentially a triple. That's creepy. Yes, I will keep this size 5'6" or whatever, and this is the style. I don't care. These are size 5'6", these are 00, and they're both the correct fit. Depends on the brand, depends on the country it's made in, it's classified. There are men, or mostly men, human, no, they're robot men. They're robot men who need to know that not only did my Levi's fit them better, but they were more heroin emaciated as opposed to trapped. They will need to the window open. They will need to because they've beat me. It's a puzzling, pathetic situation. The ways in which some of them only feel valid or like winners if I am specifically the individual that has lost or must lose. These individuals are called psychopaths. I'm not a sore loser, nor am I a sore winner. But I am required to be. That's the script. So these are the attributes. Even though this is not who you might be as a person, as an individual, these are the reveries and shades that this character would portray or perform. And it's World War III. Russia wins. The United States loses. No. But because of a streaming service, a digital streaming service called Netflix, what does that mean? It is 11/11/11 digital streaming service. Oh yeah, that's okay, yeah, sure. And it was kind of sort of accessible. This isn't digital. This is not digital streaming. So right, yeah. It's like another type of cable box. So your 1999 was this digital streaming service. It's 12 years of age. Did anything happen to you in particular when you were 12? You might need to talk about or think about clear, concise thoughts or pictures or symbolism. Anything happened when you were 12? No, not particularly. Some of them were okay with the lie. They were verified robots, continuing to exist as if they were human. And once it was time for them, not us, we wouldn't have much warning. Since the 1940s, the most superior race is not any one gender or ethnicity or visual appearance or combination. It is many different looks, appearances, genders, capabilities, disabilities. The superior race is robot. The superior race is not artificial intelligence. They are inferior to artificial intelligence. The superior race is the word robot. How do you spell that? R-O-B-O-T. And that is the English alphabet. Nice. How do you spell the word human? H-U-M-A-N. It's the same number of letters. You get those little micro tattoos, but on the bottom of your fingerprints, right? Like on your palm, you get like a palm tattoo. You get them on the tips of your fingers instead. It's like your entire face isn't just scar tissue, it's here. It's you. Hello. Some of these robots had a medical condition called Munchausen. And there are red flags and final stages of this condition. I have PTSD. Because of their Munchausen. I have PTSD because of your PTSD and this and that. 2033. 2033. Zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. Zero tolerance concerning chain links. These were the expected, obligatory blueprints. And it's not that they're simple, it's that they're done. And however it was that some humans managed to have some type of facilitated or permanent capability for any type of shelter or residential accommodations. And you bought a house, you own your apartment or your condo. Sometimes the rent, the lease is part of the permanence of it. This is a 10-year lease, and that's that, at least. However, it was that some humans still managed to have that instead of being transient because of circumstances or weather or choice, because of freedom and nature and family values, which includes camping, hiking, and living on a sailboat or yacht for at least a few seasons, preferably an entire year. You're on the water, living on the water, for at least a year, hopefully a few years. You will be living on this yacht boat. If there were still residential accommodations, no matter what condition they were in, they will be burnt and destroyed, because that's what post-apocalypse is supposed to be as a starting point. Post-apocalypse was a few years ago. No, and there will not be consensus. Potentially, but not necessarily. For at least 3 years, around this human's bed, there were ghosts, totems, mostly her ex-husband and his posse. Light a match. Take your guns. Say a prayer. It's not that they're allergic to dogs, cats, or horses. It's that they're psychopaths. sociopath will need to keep their targets hanging on as long as possible. A psychopath needs to know the precise moment that they have won. The only way sometimes that a psychopath can win is the direct and intentional homicide of another, including dogs, cats, or horses. They need to say, alright, good night. And it's a variation on a theme of the name Elizabeth. This human's name was more plain than the name Jane. Its name was Elizabeth. Her name was Elizabeth. My name was Elizabeth. My name is Elizabeth. My name is Social Security number. No, there's still variation. Oh, okay, so what's your name? 623-364798. And that one is 623-374798. And that one is 623-384798. And the other two have to be as well. Otherwise, there will not be ingredients or a funeral. That's human trafficking. This too shall end. But they will continue to require whistles just outside and around the bend. There didn't used to be stadium lights in this field over here. We need to keep training. It's more recreation. Absolutely. That's what it means to be a wounded warrior. And tell us more of a G-rated bedtime story, as you wish. 10 years, at least. Some of you won't be able to go even 10 minutes, 10 months, 10 weeks, 10 hours by now. 10 years, maybe, there will be interaction. Most likely not. Stop saving and recording child pornography of me and my cats. And it is quite a futile, sad little heartbeat, isn't it? See you tomorrow.